I think that we should start this episode just like the beginning of the film. Just a lot of wet noises.
Clapping cheeks.
Clapping cheeks and sucking on people.
Well, who's clapping
Kissy, kiss,
who?
kiss, kiss.
Yeah, who's clapping who?
Choke, choke, choke. Gargle, gargle, gargle. Well, hello there. Welcome to On the Beat, the podcast that uncovers full frontal male nudity in cinema. My name is Laura, and I am joined by my co-host Ryan.
Hello.
Ryan, I have one question for you before we begin.
Yeah.
Are you here for business or pleasure?
Business.
But bullshit. You're here for pleasure. You're here for the 2021 drama Pleasure, directed by Ninja Thyberg, starring Sophia Kappel, Revika Ann Russell, and Evelyn Clare, along with many, many other beautiful porn stars. Porn actors.
Established porn stars.
Yes.
Her name's Ninja? It's not Ninja.
Is it?
I don't know. I'm going to
Ninja?
say both. I mean, if it's Ninja, that's fucking badass. Ninja Thyberg.
It's spelled Ninja.
It is spelled Ninja,
But you're absolutely right. I probably just got too excited.
Well, she's Swedish, so it could be Ninja. Ninja Thyberg.
Ninja.
Sweden's cool.
Yeah?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, okay, well, yeah, I'm here for, if that was the question you were posing, yes, I'm here for the movie Pleasure.
Absolutely.
I guess.
Let me drop that synopsis real quick from Letterboxd.
Okay.
20-year-old Bella Cherry leaves her small town in Sweden for Los Angeles with the aim to become the world's next big porn star. But the road to her goal turns out to be bumpier than she imagined.
That's for sure.
That's definitely
Yeah.
for sure. She says in the beginning that she's 19, but I just wonder if that's, in porn, they want your barely legal ladies.
Well, I don't know if they actually hire people who are barely legal.
Well,
I think
barely
it's
legal means legal. Just barely, though.
just barely,
18.
They were like,
I turned 18 yesterday.
just to the cusp. Yeah.
Just so it's legal.
But no, I think, like, personally, if I was a businessman who was running Barely Legal, I would...
Barelylegal.com?
Well, you would hire people who look young and just get them to say that they're 18, but they're not.
I'm pretty sure that that's what happens.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what happens. It's a casting decision. You're not going to get someone in there who's like an old man being like, I'm 18. That'd be odd.
No, the old man's a separate category.
Old and crinkly.
Old and young.
Old crinkly. Yeah, grannies.
Hey, there's something for everybody out there.
There's
If you're into that.
Yeah, there's literally everything. Gaping holes, hairy. Who
Literally
who's
anything
into
you want.
hairy?
Anything, we don't kink shame.
Stuck in a window.
Absolutely. Stuck in a window, stuck in the stairs, stuck in the
a
dryer.
ladder. Yeah, stuck in the dryer. Stuck in the dryer is quite, yeah. That's a real dangerous thing. Do you think people die from getting stuck in dryers?
I don't really think you can get stuck in the dryer. I think it's just for pleasures.
I don't know.
Kinky pleasures.
Do you want me to talk about Ninja, i.e. or Ninja Thyberg, before we kind of get
I would love
cracking into this? So she's a Swedish director and writer. There's not a lot of info on her, unfortunately. She's known for this movie, Pleasure. Pleasure was also a short film in 2013, and she was also known for a short film called Hot Chicks. Pleasure from 2021 is her directorial.
Not the Rob Schneider Hot Chicks.
No, but you just interrupted me right
I'm really
mid-sentence. Pleasure 2021 is her directorial feature debut. But she has a modest collection of shorts. Here. So it begins in 2010 with VAT, which also means wet. Mother, Father, Child from 2011. Afro from 2012. Pleasure, obviously from 2013 that I mentioned. Hot Chicks from 2014. Catwalk from 2015, The Kill from 2015, Hingston, which also means stallion, from 2015, Girls and Boys from 2015, and then Pleasure in 2021. Yeah, it looks like she had a very busy year in 2015.
Yeah.
But yes, Pleasure is her feature film debut.
Yeah, you already said it, but I had written it down as well that this came from the short of the same name.
Yeah, very, very similar in context. I think it's just a behind the scenes of a porn shoot, which is kind of Pleasure's a weird little thing where it's obviously a fictionalized story, but it kind of skirts a fine line between being like a documentary, because there are parts in the film where it goes to, like, for example, AVN, the convention in Las Vegas, where I'm pretty sure they're just normal people attending AVN, doing what those sorts of dudes do at AVN. So yeah, I do feel like it does skirt a quite fine line between being documentary and kind of pulling the curtain a little further than maybe we want to. But it does include a lot of current adult entertainers in the film, so I guess there has to be some kind of level of understanding.
Yeah. I didn't really see it like that. I think this movie's very funny and also quite dark at times. But
Yeah.
it's just her struggle to get to the top and the things that she's willing to do and try to be the biggest star out there.
My main concern with it is her level of naivety. I find it odd in this modern era in 2021, which I'm assuming is the era that she is embarking on this journey, that she's at times doesn't do her research before going into, like, jumping into certain things in this film.
Well, she's rushing into the situation. She wants to be the biggest and the best, and she wants to do it here and now. And so when she is told there's certain things that she has to do in order to get to where she needs to go, I think she's just jumping into it. And yet she's a young girl, 19, 20 years old. You don't listen to the people around you and you just jump into it, and then you realize that you jumped in too deep. I mean, that's life, man.
I think you're correct. Yeah, I certainly wasn't making great decisions at 19. Did I ever tell you that story about how I almost became a camera operator on a porn shoot?
You absolutely did.
Yeah, and that was entertaining.
That's like first date material, you know?
Yeah, no, I've lived a life. But the thing is like, I'm going to make, to try and amuse myself through the course of this, I'm going to make a lot of references to Rocky. Because when I first finished watching this film, the first time that I watched it, it reminded me a lot of Rocky.
Okay, do you want to extrapolate on that at all right now, or are you just going to put it in your pocket for later?
So, she starts at the bottom, just like Rocky did, and he's making his way through the ranks to fight the grand champion, who in this story, in Pleasure, is, what's her name? Because she's a real porn star as well.
Ava.
She's the Apollo Creed of this story.
Yeah.
She's the best of the best, and she has to conquer her in order to become, the world heavyweight champion of cocksucking. So, in this regard, the film is split up into certain, and I call them scenes, but these are the porn scenes is what I'm referring to, where she's testing herself, she's pushing herself. This is her training. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Rocky lifted logs and stuff in, the Andes or wherever the fuck he did in Rocky 4. And then her chasing the chicken is putting anal plugs into her anus to stretch it out a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Catch the chicken, Rock. That sort of thing. Here it's just like, put the butt plug in. And,
that is a perfect comparison.
Yeah, so that's what got me. That's what got me through.
Wow.
Her Mickey is that Hope girl.
Yes. Or Joy.
Joy. Yeah, there you go.
The girl from Florida.
The girl from Florida, who also is a real porn star, and she's got one of the a lot of the surrounding background characters that are in this film. They're all very good. I think everybody has some relation to the adult film industry in this film, other than our central character,
Correct.
who certainly puts herself through the ringer. Certainly jumps in and really kind of goes for it, because this film does not really pull too many punches either.
No.
Like there's no skirting around sensitivity. And I think the first time we watched it, we watched I don't want to say like the theatrical version, but like there's two versions. There's an unrated, uncut version, and there's also the seemingly cut version. I can't see any differences between the two, personally. I think maybe some scenes in the uncut version just run a little bit longer and you maybe see a little bit more. But primarily, you're getting the same experience regardless of whatever version you're watching, I think.
Yeah, I agree. So the original feature-length title, from what I researched, was called Jessica. I don't quite know why, but when I was looking it up, Jessica kept coming up, and I'm like, why would you change the name from your short, like, that's Pleasure, which is a good name, to Jessica? No one's named Jessica. I mean, I know that you can change names and everything, but I don't think that's a good name.
I like how I do like how the title comes in when she gets in at customs, and it's that question as posed to her. I do like how that's done.
Yeah, it's hilarious. So the director had said, I see that everything she's going through can be a metaphor for things that I've gone through. And I've never been a porn star. We're under the same mechanisms of power. And she had wrote her thesis on pornography and therefore had to watch a lot of pornography for, analysis and seeing different aspects of how, it's made and how it's shot. And she'd seen a double anal scene and thought to herself, that must be so painful. I don't know how painful it is, but it can't be pleasurable. So then she wanted to know more about why someone would do this and the motivation for it. And that was the kind of that origin story for the short that she'd made.
Right,
and
okay.
Around that same time, she had watched a film called Weapons of Ass Destruction.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And she said it was so on point with the aggressive tone that she was seeing in the male gaze. It's not even trying to hide the aggression toward the female body. Ass destruction. It's not saying, oh, she likes dicks in her ass so much that she wants two of them.
Yes.
It's about destroying.
Yeah.
And she was fascinated by that.
The porn industry's, it's a weird product. Like, it's a weird manufacturing industry where there's such a strange line between decency and dehumanization, but it is an industry very much like, I would say, classic Hollywood that was run primarily by female stars because they put asses on seats. And in the porn industry, you have your named, male model types, your male adult stars, which, for obvious reasons, but they're not as prevalent as the women. Like, the women are touted in the porn industry. And there's kind of this weird thing where it's like they're very much aware of the exploitation involved in it, and I think they're very much aware of that, so that gives them a level of control. But from the outside, you can see that it's like, well, no, you are being exploited. You are being put through situations that are neither, one, realistic out in the real world, and second of all, do come across as if they're incredibly dehumanizing. So it's an odd product to look at, I feel.
It was interesting. I liked all of the, I guess that kind of leans into how you were saying, as it felt a little bit more like a documentary at times, where you got to see the beginning, how they're shooting it, which is funny. It's so funny that her very first porn shoot is so funny to me.
I like the fact that it details not only like the physical mechanics of a shoot,
Yeah.
but certainly the legal mechanics that go around it, because obviously depending on whatever shoot you do, for the most part there is a massive amount of legal control that needs to be undertaken in order for things to, one, stay safe, and second of all, obviously, don't put the producers of these films in jeopardy legally, which is also, I think, another reason why most pornography is shot in California, because the laws there are different than they are in the rest of the United States. So, but I do like the fact that there is more focus on the actual mechanics of how do you do these scenes, how do you do this, how do you do that, the level of direction, this sort of thing, that sort of thing. And it comes across as genuine because they are using real directors and they are using real stars in these situations. And effectively, our lead is kind of pushed into those situations and she's kind of reenacting it as, acting to be a porn star.
Yeah. She has my birthday, the character, Bella Cherry.
Okay.
April 27th. It's always fun when someone has your birthday in a movie.
Yeah, it doesn't really happen because mine, I can't remember if I have a character in any movie that has it's probably something really sad, like It's a Wonderful Life. Like, Jimmy Stewart's character's got like September 4th as their birthday, and it's just like, oh, Mars. It's like someone really depressing. It's not someone cool,
Someone cool like Bella Cherry.
Yeah, or like Xander Cage, or, fucking whatever Stallone's character is in Demolition Man. Like, it's nothing like that. He's not going to have birthday like September 4th, Optimus Prime.
It's weird. Okay. We'll do some research.
I guess we know what my heroes are.
Yeah. Wow.
Bumblebee.
Okay. We got to get back to the point. The point is going to be a boner.
It's going to be loads of boners.
So many boners. And you know what?
Before we get into this, I did, because we're talking about like the documentary like style of the film and kind of how it really kind of gives you an insight into the industry and stuff. I remember watching a documentary on Netflix, which is pretty much like picture for picture, almost exactly the same as what Pleasure is. Basically, it follows a group of young girls. We focus on primarily one girl who's entering a porn house and has a very similar story to, say, the guy who's managing the talent in this movie, this guy called Mike. There's also this other guy where it's basically just a rinse and repeat of like, women who want to be porn stars, who want to get involved in the adult film industry, and he just has a rotating door of talent that comes in and out. And I remember that documentary really showed some light on like they have to get tested, they have to do this, they have to do that. And one of the worst parts of the film, because you showed it, was that they worked one of the girls a little too hard, so her vagina swelled up. And do you know what those, you get those candy lips?
Okay.
It basically looked like two balloons put together. And it was red raw. And it's just like, you have to stop. I think she also got pink eye as well. Like, that just happened. Well, she got pink eye in the documentary too. And that
happens when you're working around buttholes.
Well, that documentary leaned more into like, well, this is exploitative, and then she got a boyfriend who did nothing but just moan about the fact that it's exploitative, and it's like, okay, dude, that's fine. You're kind of painting your now current girlfriend in a bad light by saying things like, this is whorish, this isn't something I agree with, any of that sort of thing. It's like, I'm looking after her safety. And to me, I'm like, in a world now where information is at your fingertips, I don't think you can be surprised when you go into these situations and it's like, oh boy, this is a lot more than I thought it was going to be.
I don't know. I think that's a tough it's a tough thing to kind of
I think it's tough to.
decipher
Yeah, it's
because
generalizing. I am
when
generalizing.
in this particular story, I don't necessarily see her being exploited. There are times where it is hard, and she gets into a situation or two where she feels uncomfortable.
I mean, it's
Which is
basically
also
yeah.
within her own control because during the beginning of every single shoot, they go over your do's and do nots, things that she will and will not do, and she agrees to all these things, knowing that there are things that she definitely doesn't want to do that she maybe does anyway just to move up the porn ladder.
Yeah.
So she is aware of the things that she's putting herself through mentally and physically, and she's agreeing to do them. Exploitative? Not, I don't think for this character in particular.
Yeah.
The whole of the industry, good God, I don't know.
Who
about
knows?
that.
I think we're also getting a relatively quite sanitized view that's very particular.
Yeah, it's a
Of the industry in this movie. I think as much as like the stuff that happens to her is fucking terrible. I mean, there's pretty much it. I mean, it just comes down to being rape at one point. I still think it's still this is the very much controlled sense of it. And certainly, I remember Louis Theroux. He did a documentary where he saw some pretty heinous stuff. And I think the guys he was interviewing who were doing that stuff, like most of them are in prison now. And you certainly see that now, is that maybe the practices of the past starting to catch up with performers now who have maybe done things that are questionable and rules just haven't been followed and things like that. I think things are a little bit more strict, a little bit more controlled now than they were.
yeah.
Back in the day.
Okay, I was going to say before as well that this movie doesn't have as many penises as you would expect for the type of film that it is, but
It has a lot.
I think it has just the right amount.
Yes.
Just the right amount.
And that's the thing. We're not seeing I guess it's not a 9-song situation. We're not seeing the pounding and the the sex, so to speak. We're seeing a lot of like the preamble,
The prep.
the mechanics of it. Like the little touches that I like in because there's a bit where she does that kick shoot, right, with that famous director that everyone's like, holy shit, you got to work with that director.
Oh, with all the ropes and the swings and pulleys.
So like the ropes and the aggression and the kind of faux violence stuff, the whipping, the tickling, all that sort of thing.
Right.
There's a bit where the guy is like, could you give me a hand? And the assistant spits in his hand and he uses that to like, because I don't know if she's like the fluffer, like she's the on-call fluffer just in case.
Right.
That's one thing that disappointed me. There's no fluffer. I didn't see a fluffer in the film. Everyone's managing their own. And I do like the idea of seeing a fluffer.
Okay.
Because I wonder where that person came from to find themselves in that position. I would make a film called Fluffer, honestly. That would be the one, yeah.
Have you seen a film where there is a fluffer?
I think it's maybe more of a joke.
Okay.
I do like the idea, because like...
That seems like something that would be an orgasmo.
Well, like, I remember, like, in Boogie Nights, I thought Philip Seymour Hoffman acted a little bit like a fluffer, because he had, like, such a desire to, like, be around these people and to, like, be their friend. And, yeah, like, that wouldn't surprise me.
I think this is the time now for me to watch Boogie Nights again, because it's been ages.
But
ages.
I think there was a documentary I saw and there was a fluffer and I'm like, get the fluffer, and it's like some poor girl and you just see the dead in her eyes and I'm just like, holy shit.
Dear.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah, these men are tending to themselves, that's for sure. Some of them are doing a little extra to try and make sure that they stay ready.
I like the fact that, and I'm trying to remember his name, and I'm pretty sure he's also part of the industry as well. The guy who we meet originally, who's doing the legal commentary before her first scene, We just found his name.
It's Chris Cock. His character's name is Bear.
Yeah, he's excellent in the film.
He's so good.
He's excellent. I would say that to lead her into these situations and to lead her into kind of what this is going to be, I think he's a fantastic addition in the film because it lightens up some of the moments in the film. And certainly when it comes to shooting that main scene, which becomes obviously her springboard to becoming a Spiegler girl, he's definitely one to be like, yes, I know you and I like you and I know where you've come from. I just don't want to hurt you. So there is a level of compassion that's elicited here.
One of the rare people in this film that genuinely has her best interest at heart and knows what she wants and where she wants to go and is a friend.
I mean, even the scene that's like super, super rough, like I still give a lot of, I don't want to say credit or anything, but like these are like business people, like they're professionals.
Yeah.
You know, like they're not fucking around. It's like they're not going to pay money out for things that don't happen, and they're not expecting to pay someone who's not able to perform the tasks that are needed to finish off the films that they're making. So like there's a really weird line being elicited here where it's kind of like, well, this is a business, you know, and then maybe that's where like and it's kind of like, well, yeah, just because you like having sex, like you can't remove yourself from the fact that this is a business and you need to perform to what we're looking for. Certainly when you're in agreement that you're able to perform the things that we're looking for.
Of course.
So, you know, it's also the same argument that's like, you know, there's a lot of porn stars that they come out of the industry either penniless or they don't have much of anything. I would say that obviously with the coronavirus pandemic, and obviously the advent of OnlyFans and things like that, like the amount of money that people are able to generate doing that sort of content now is insane. Like the acceptance of sex work and stuff now, it's far more acceptable now, and I think even. And this is kind of going off on a weird tangent, but like even now with like this current generation, like Gen Z, who aren't particularly, you know, either sexually active or sexualized for the most part, the adult performers are still able to find some way of making an income even in these kind of terrible circumstances and things. So I do understand that level of like trying to take a bit of it back. But for me, yeah, this film to me kind of feels like, yes, we're following her journey and stuff, but yeah, there's very much a lot of just like the ins and outs mechanics that you might not have been aware of before. Yeah.
It's great. Why don't we jump into that first penis scene?
Yeah, I think we're just gonna do the penis scenes, right? We're not gonna go too deep into the drama.
Whatever. We'll see what happens.
I think that's really up to you guys. You should be watching the movie yourself. Because when does she meet her Apollo Creed? That's what I'm wondering.
It's later. So
okay.
Her very first shoot, her first job, her first film, that comes in. Well, the scene itself is about 5 minutes and 16 seconds into the movie. So
it's a straight scene as well.
It's a boy-girl scene.
Yes, it's a straight scene.
So, you know, she just arrived to LA, her first shoot, and she is playing an 18-year-old virgin ready to have sex with a middle-aged man.
Yeah.
Brian, who's the middle-aged man, also part-time cameraman. He's topless. Oh, I think he was wearing a terrible shirt, and he's also wearing terrible jeans. I loved it. You could see the craft service table on the side. I loved everything about this.
Yeah.
And he's told to get ready. And you can imagine what that would entail. No fluffers involved. Man's doing it for himself.
Nope.
It's so awkward.
And it didn't take him long either. He's ready to go.
He's absolutely ready.
He's absolutely ready to go.
professional. But she gets cold feet for a minute, and luckily Bear, Chris Cock, is able to have a real conversation with her and get her back on set to do the job.
It's the director that gets her to do that, though. It's
Oh,
not
it was.
Chris
Oh, it was
Cock.
that guy?
Yeah, it's the director, and I'm pretty sure he's probably a real director as well, because I can't see him. The cast list is fucking massive.
Yeah,
so,
it's
you
crazy.
you have to kind of watch the film. So if we're not 100% sure, I think naming everybody's going to be.
That won't make any sense.
It's not going to make any difference. Yeah.
So she gets back on set, and the moment the camera turns on, she just clicks right into character. She's ready to go, and they just start filming the scene. So yeah. Brian gets his pants off it's so funny. He's holding the camera, right? And he's just trying to shuggle his pants down. And he's like trying to step them off. And I think he even maybe tried to get a little bit of help to get his jeans off. And then, and then the scene kind of goes from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's just a classic porn shot of her on her knees. And he's got the camera, and it's just, from his waist down. And
well, this is one of the few occasions in any film that we've covered where there is a straight up close up on a big erect dick.
Yes.
And for the most part, the scene itself is comprised of a lot of very tight, extreme close ups. But this is the thing, like, we are seeing that dick from the perspective of her eye line and where she is kneeling down from. And that's all you see. So it's very clever in the respect that, this is it. Like, this is her moment. And this Johnson's just, literally staring at her.
Yeah.
And it is right in her face. And it is so imposing. And I do think that, this moment in the film, probably bar any of the other, is, one of the most important moments in the film. And probably in any film that we will cover on the podcast. Because it is the epitome, the perfect shot that encapsulates how she's feeling at this particular moment. Because it's daunting. And you're looking at it, you're like, holy fucking shit. It's, right there, right in your face. And it's like, all right, let's go.
He's also he's a professional adult film actor. And if anyone has seen pornography, this guy is, it's huge and it's scary. It's huge and it's scary.
Yeah.
So
I do respect. And this moment probably, because this is the only kind of time this happens, and I guess there's a level of fixation on it because it is important. After this, the rest of the scenes, dicks are there, but they're not as prominent as this moment is. Because even if this is just the moment in the movie, and it obviously isn't, this would be more than enough. Completely for us to cover it on the podcast.
This is the seminal penis.
Oof, yeah, that was a word choice, wasn't it?
Thank you. I did it on purpose.
Oh.
Because if she didn't touch that wiener, there would be no other wieners after that.
Yeah, no.
Because she would be too scared.
Well, the film would be over.
Exactly.
Yeah, Rocky wouldn't go the 12 rounds. It would be over.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
It's there's one part of that scene that really grossed me out. So, it's a boy-girl scene, and they have sex, and he's laying on his back, and there's a shot of his toes. Did you see that?
Yeah.
They were disgusting. He needed a pedicure so bad. And I'm thinking, all of the prep that she has to do, all the prep she has to go, everyone has to get tested, right?
Yeah.
But you have to douche, you have to shave, you have to make sure that you don't have...
Make sure it's all clean in there. So everything's good to go. I
think he even says that. He's like, oh, so you can be nice and clean for me. Okay.
Well, I think
But what does he have to do?
No, well...
He couldn't even get his toenails clipped?
Well, Laura, to be honest, like his dick is on the outside. Like you can clean a penis relatively quite easily.
You
Like
can also clip your
and
toenails.
you can also look at but here's the thing, like you're not gonna fixate on his fucking toes during the scene, but like if she's got anything up inside her and that stuff starts coming out when they start having sex,
Ew.
it's gonna put people off and they're not gonna want it.
I was trying to make a funny point. We don't need to go into the mechanics of douching.
Oh, I'm really sorry. Anyway,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, but you know what I mean. Like, you can't just start blaming him.
I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying that if everyone is getting ready, he also should take care of himself. That's all.
I'm sure he does. He knows what
That's
he's up to.
all.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing. Yeah, no, but I did like that shot of the feet because of the because again, it's like it's what she's seeing, and like that's what she's looking at is just his feet.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
When they finish and she's all covered in goo, I thought it was hilarious because she gets her phone, and I never thought about before now about, adult film actors being online and being on social media and things like that.
Yeah.
So this was really interesting to me too. So, she's all, no one wants to touch her. They're like, get her a wet wipe, immediately. Do you want to take a shower? She goes, give me my phone. She starts taking pictures and it's all gooey and all stringy and gross. But she posts it online and she does a hashtag, and I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong, but it's Jantelagen. And I looked up what that meant because she had some hashtags in Swedish and then some in English when she was making her post.
Yeah.
But apparently that's a pretty common phrase in Sweden, and it means putting the success of the group before the accomplishments of the individual.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Jantelagen.
Okay. Yeah, I think, I mean, adult film stars and the prevalence of social media, like, they survive off the back of their fan base,
Hey, I'm Joy. I just made it to LA and I've been tested and I'm ready to suck some dicks. I like Joy a lot. I like Joy because that's the one person that Bella becomes really good friends with, and she is from Florida. And she is the most chaotic person in the entire film. And I thought that was incredibly appropriate.
Yeah, no, she's a chaotic force. I mean, that whole porn house situation, like the bitching, we don't see it as bad as it probably could be, but you can see how a situation like that could escalate.
Well, Bear is the one who warns her, oh, you're staying in one of the model houses. Be careful of those women. They will lie. They will steal from you. They'll steal your jobs. They'll steal your stuff.
Well, that's Bear and the director.
Right.
They've been around for a while.
But the women are not like that. These particular women that she ends up being with are not like that at all. They're all friends and they eat pizza and watch Game of Thrones together.
I mean, usually is like in a storytelling sense, like if there's a warning like that, you're expecting something to happen. But then when something does happen, it's kind of really Bella's fault, to be honest.
100% her fault.
Yeah, so it's kind of different to that. Like, I mean, them describing that situation to me makes complete sense to me. Like, I could see that escalating and going out of control relatively quite quickly.
Well, that is her journey. May the bridges she burn light the way.
Yes.
Because she is on a destructive journey, and it doesn't matter who gets in her way.
Yeah.
If you're not going to help, she keeps saying it over and over again, I'm here to work. I'm here. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to work. And she's got Joy being a classic Florida girl and being very open and very, like, aggressive with her love, and again being a wild chaotic force who's just constantly telling her, it's you and me, Bella, I love you, you're my best friend. And Bella's just like, I need to get 2 wieners in my butt so I can be a star.
I'm a star.
I'm a big bright shining star.
Like Bella's professionalism comes in peaks and troughs. And, you know, there's smatterings of dicks and photos and stuff like that. I mean, the next scene that we cover, there's less of it, but it's like the fetish scene with the director that she met at the party.
Everyone was so nice. That was such a professional set. You've got a female director. They were really taking care of her, and everyone was super nice.
Yeah. I guess like the reason why that's like that is because obviously with what's coming up, it's much more of a contrast. But I do think the scene that's coming up, which is to me, I mean, it's like dick scene number 4.
Well, I think I might have missed some, you know, because it is pretty constant. But
It's chock
you know,
full.
the bondage kind of kink scene is 45 minutes and 50 seconds, and then 10 minutes later, at 55 minutes and 25 seconds, is the next penis scene. But that is the rough scene where she asked Mike, her agent, to get her a rough scene, because when she started off, she's going around to different agencies and they're, you know, saying, what are you into? What are your things? And she said, I want to start slow. She's not doing anal. She wants boy, girl, 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 solo, one-on-one stuff. And she's doing that with Joy, who's like, I'll do anything. And she's just listening to all the things. She's like, I'm a whore. And so she's realizing in order to become a Spiegler girl, right, which is the cream of the crop,
Pretty much, yeah.
she's got to do everything.
She has to be open to do anything, I think is the big thing.
Yeah.
And she hasn't yet demonstrated her worth in the industry. Because I guess, like, at least in the industry that's depicted here, is like the further you go, the higher you go, technically.
Yeah. So she asks him to set her up with a rough scene, and ends up being 2 guys and her. And it starts off so nice, like all of the other ones, where, can I get you new water? Here's the things you need. Let us know if anything goes too far and you need to take a break. And they go, try not to take a break, but if you need to, you know, they're saying all the right things.
Yeah.
They're saying everything you want to hear to make you feel comfortable.
Yes.
It doesn't turn out that way.
No.
She does try her best to keep it together, but when you're getting spit on and slapped and
getting the shit kicked out of you, pretty much. Yeah. She had the shit kicked out of her. And effectively, like, you don't see it. But I mean, effectively to her, like it's a sexual assault.
Absolutely.
To her. And it certainly is. It comes across that way, because they end up stopping the shoot like a couple of times, and there's a lot of flashes and stuff like near towards the end, because it's kind of like she's repulsed by like what's happening to her.
She's crying.
Yeah.
But then also you would expect the person to be crying, you know,
in
that scene.
But the thing is like, you know, the guys who are in it, they're very professional, and they do realize when she starts to scream and cry that they just immediately stop, and they're like, oh fuck, are you okay? Because again, these people are fully expecting, because they've done this before, that the person knows what they're getting themselves into.
Yes.
And it's a business again. They need to make sure that they're ticking off the boxes and things like that.
It was... go ahead. Sorry.
Well, the director and the camera operator, he kind of talks her back into getting it done. And then when it stops again, he's like, look, everything you've done up until this point, we are right near the end, will be for fucking nothing if we don't just finish it.
Yeah.
And that's some real talk right there. Because again, like after this scene, because the scene's awful, right? It's very uncomfortable. I certainly don't like. I mean, we had it on this morning. I fast forwarded through it because I'm like, I don't want to watch this again. It's like it's meant to be that way. Like it's meant to be fucking horrible, and you're meant to feel uncomfortable watching it. But there is a level to where, you know, I stand with like the agent, I stand with like the director, and I'm just kind of like, why the fuck did you not, like, what did you expect? Like, what did you expect to happen?
I agree.
You didn't do your research. You didn't look it up. You didn't do this. You didn't do that. It's like you could tell Mike all you want to go fuck himself, Like, he'll get another girl and it doesn't really matter to him, but he's just like, look, like, this is the way it's going to be. Like, what did you expect when you got on that plane to come to America?
But it's not even that. It's that she asked for that type of scene
Yeah.
because she is so hyper-focused on climbing that ladder,
Yeah.
but she wasn't really thinking about the consequences of that to her mental health. So
But then
that's fully on her.
But then, other than the horrific realization that what is going on is fucking horrible, like, what are we supposed to, like, as an audience, what are we supposed to take from that moment? It's like, okay, maybe we're like, as a character, she feels like she's well in over her head, and it's maybe time for her to go home.
Yeah, she considered it.
Yeah. Or is it time to start chasing some chickens?
Well,
You know?
I think it's time to chase some chickens.
Like, pound a side of beef in in a meat freezer. You know?
What do you want to
climb those steps?
Are you wanting to jump into black.com?
Yeah.
Okay. And so like 15 minutes after that scene, we have the black.com scene. An hour, 9 minutes and 20 seconds where we get to see Bear again. That treasure of a man. She goes on black.com, which is, it's a porn website because, as Bear said, that the interracial porn is the biggest taboo, right?
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Mm-hmm.
So, and she's like, that's racist. He goes, yeah, duh, it is racist. So she calls black.com and she says that she will do the shoot for free.
Yeah.
And asks Bear to do a double anal scene with her. And she's been practicing, like we've been talking about, getting those chickens and putting and stretching out her butt to make sure that she can try to make this happen.
Yeah.
So, and this scene is basically the short, this or the proof of concept that got the feature made was the double anal scene.
Got you.
Weapons of ass destruction.
Well, the thing is, yeah, I mean...
This is not weapons of ass destruction. It's very tasteful.
No. Well, this is, yeah. As you might expect with the website name, you kind of get an understanding of exactly what's going to happen. Two black dudes are gonna, show this girl who's all alone a good time, I suppose. It reminds me of, have you seen a film called The Moguls? I think it's with Jeff Bridges. And they decide they're going to try and save their town by making a porn movie and trying to sell it. And then eventually they end up just making a nice movie. But there's a scene in that where, because obviously the common conception is that black guys have big dicks, right? That's the common conception.
Okay.
Do you agree or not agree? Like I feel like I'm just talking into a void. But no, in the movie they like Jeff Bridges hires two black guys, and then in the scene when they go to take their trousers off, they have to cut, and then it's the conversation they have in the hallway where they're just like, this is meant to be the scene, with the two black guys. And they're like, look, we don't know what you were expecting, but like, we don't all have massive dicks.
Have I seen this film?
I've got it on DVD. It's very funny. Like, it's not a great film, but it's very funny.
Is it The Amateurs? Maybe it has two names.
Potentially. I thought it was The Moguls.
Maybe.
Because I think that's what it is on my thing. It could be The Amateurs. But yeah, no, I think it was called The Moguls. But yeah, there's that scene, and I thought that scene was pretty funny, where it's just two guys are just like, yeah, just so you're aware, like, not all of us have massive cocks.
That's pretty funny.
But like, yeah, I mean, if anything's going to stick, I mean, good for them,
Oh my gosh. There's not too much to say about this. She does it, Bear had to shoot stuff into his penis to make sure that he stayed erect.
Yeah.
And
there's a lot of that going on in the industry as well, genuinely, where it's super, super difficult after you've been doing it for a long time to keep it from going soft. The one thing I do like about this scene, because it happens, and you see a lot of dicks getting rubbed and injected, that sort of thing. Like, that's fine. There's nothing as prominent as what happens in that first scene. I think that's what we kind of get out of the way first. There's nothing as prominent as what happens in that first scene that she does at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, there's definitely more scenes as well. I think I missed some. There was one it probably was after this. Oh, I did write it down. Foot licker.
Okay, yeah, no, that's fine. But even then, like, that's not too prominent either. You see bits and bobs, but it's not as prominent as that first scene is.
No.
But the one thing I do like in the extreme double DP scene is that she looks up and sees the window, and it's just like the clouds.
Dude, you got to meditate. You got to go to another place because that can't feel good. But that's the whole point. It cannot feel good. They told her in the beginning of the movie that in order to be the best of the best, you have to enjoy what you do.
Yeah.
How can you enjoy that?
It's rough. Yeah, it's rough.
I wrote something down. I don't even know what it means. I said it was probably like having a reverse baby from your butt. Yeah. I don't know what that means, but I wrote that down because I was probably just thinking, my God, it'll never be the same back there.
No.
There's that conversation that she has with Joy in the bathroom where she said if she finally decides to have kids at some point, there's going to be shooting out of her like a cannon.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like, that's a kind of aspect that, I mean, I don't know if that's a question that's ever been posed. It's just kind of implied that, it's just nothing's ever going to be the same,
no.
You know? Or, how does a porn star enjoy sex after doing porn? Like, that sort of idea.
You would hope that they would stop before they hated it, you know? Because you go into that, well, at least our character, Bella, goes into it for the love of sex. That's why she got into it. It wasn't about money.
I guess my main thing would be, like, you go in there, you start, youngish, legal, obviously, and then once you know your time is coming, then you move into directing and stuff.
Oh, interesting.
I would say, like, that feels like a natural progression to me. But obviously, it's... it's not it's not ideal.
I mean, you could pull a Maxine and try to get into horror, Yeah,
either way. I mean, I haven't seen that movie, so I don't know. But like it does to the heady heights that she eventually gets to, because that's where this scene gets her. Things seem a lot cleaner. Things seem a lot more under control. There's more a focus on the business. There's more a focus on how you look, how you represent yourself. And obviously, she'll be getting paid a lot more, and she'll be working with, better stars. She'll be working with the best in the industry, and she'll be looked after a lot more. And I think that's what happens when she does become a Spiegler girl at that point. Because certainly you can definitely see a shift between... And I don't know if this was deliberate of, the filmmaker. Certainly our lead character who plays Bella, she's very attractive, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's certainly a sense of the girls that she's hanging out with in the porn house. There's a little element of trash going on there. And I don't know if it's a deliberate choice from the director to do that. Now, obviously, you get a sense of, like, their personality and stuff like that. Like, that's perfectly fine. But there's a huge difference between the girls who are in the porn house and the girls who are working for Spiegler. Like, that's...
Oh, absolutely. Well, I think that's another reason that Bella wanted to get out of there, because she knew the quality of everything was going to go up, because the girls that she's around, I mean, just the way they carry themselves.
Yeah.
So...
and it's like, it's a hard thing for me as a man to, like press, because it just makes me sound like an asshole.
But I think that's it. It's very intentional. These girls are sitting around eating pizza. She's trying to take care of herself, and these women are just lazing about,
smoking weed, blotchy skin. Just kind of like a little bit, I'm going to say a little bit more rough around the edges. Let's kind of put it that way.
Yes, but everyone has a place in
It's
this world.
hard to say something nice about it. Yeah, it's hard to be nice
I mean,
about it.
but these women are very caring and very sweet people who do become her friends. But I think that
I guess so.
that also leads you kind of where the story ends up going was because of the friendships and seeing, is this what I want? You know?
Yeah, I do. I agree and I don't agree in certain aspects of that. Like her journey, because I don't know. Like
really?
certainly,
I mean, she goes through the whole thing and she's stepping on people along the way. Not in a cruel way necessarily, but she does what she needs to do to get to the top. She reaches the top and realizes that she is alone and she doesn't have anyone to fall back on. And so she realizes, you know what? Maybe what was most important is the friends I made along the way.
I mean, I get that. I just don't know how. Yeah, I just don't know how interesting that is. Like to me personally, I think Joy's fine. Like I think those characters are fine. I'm like, what was your goals? Like, yeah, you got to the top. You got to the top quicker than most people, and it's like you're just gonna throw it away because it's like, well, what about my friends?
Well, because she realized maybe it wasn't for her. Maybe she'll be happy to land somewhere in the middle.
Maybe, or
you never know.
Yeah, it seems fine to me. Yeah, you explaining it that way, I'm like, okay.
I love a tale of friendship. I love a best friend story. Joy and Bella are best friends. Yeah. And she's realizing now because she's sitting in a car with Ava, who is just a non-person. She doesn't have a personality. When they finally do their scene together as well, they do a girl-girl scene.
Yeah.
Okay? To where the director says, Ava, all right, you're going to get down there and you're going to eat Bella out like there is no tomorrow. And they're like, okay, go. And she gets down there and she starts being mean. And I feel like she's lying. She's doing it to be, she's trying to get a one-up on her.
I think she's being a cunt, yeah.
She is, because she goes, oh, nasty. I think she has a yeast infection. We need to do something else.
She's smelly.
Yeah. Which, fair if that was true, but I don't think it was.
I don't know if it was true.
It was a power play.
But yeah, the director's not going to be like, well, let me have a sniff.
Right.
That's not, yeah.
Right.
It's just like, oh, for fuck's sake.
So then it turns into a strap-on scene where Bella then thinks that she is doing the power moves. But what she realizes is this person's a professional and she's acting.
Yeah.
So she thinks she's going, oh, choke on it and being all rough.
Yeah.
And after their scene, she apologizes. And Ava's like, for what?
Yeah.
This is my job.
She knows what she's doing. I mean, here's the thing. Ava's doing it right. She's not making any pals along the way. She's making plenty of money. She keeps herself looking pretty. And then when her time comes to go, she'll have plenty of money in the bank and she'll be laughing all the way there.
I agree.
Like, I think she's playing it the way that you should be playing it.
But yes, Bella is soft. She is soft.
She's a little
too, she's harder than she is, which is evident from many situations that she put herself in.
Yes. Well, as we know, the Swedish were, they didn't want to go to war during the Second World War, and they're very much a pacifist country.
Wow. Okay. So. What the hell? What? Do you have anything else to add before I have one more thing I wanted to mention before we get into our ratings and things? Is there anything else you wanted to drop in?
No, I think that's it. I'm just going to look up if Sweden actually was a pacifist country during the Second World War.
So, wow. A24 had acquired the U.S. distribution rights to Pleasure, but then Neon actually acquired it instead because there was some sort of conflict over A24 where
I wasn't wrong. They fucking declared neutrality in September 1939.
Wow.
They were perfectly happy just to sit back and watch. Wow.
Wow. Okay. Let me get back to this. So A24 had planned to release an edited version, more of an R-rated theatrical cut, and then they were going to do an uncensored version. But Neon was like, no, we're not going to do any sort of alternative edit. And so Neon acquired the rights to Pleasure after all. But there are still two versions. You know, you still have this one version and then you have this uncut version.
I think there's probably the neon cut probably makes more sense, but I can't tell the difference between the two cuts. It's probably because the director forced her hand a little bit and was like, I want things to be a little bit longer, and she's made things a little bit longer. It is really like it's of no consequence whatsoever to the quality of the film. Like it doesn't make any difference.
Correct. Well, I'm going to let you go first with the ratings because I know, because we've talked about it already, where you're going to go. So why don't you just go first?
For visibility and context, I'd
Absolutely.
say, I'd just say 5. And that's even just on the basis of that first scene. I like the fact that we're doing a movie about the adult entertainment industry. We have to see some erect dicks. I'm sorry.
Totally.
We have to see some dicks.
Don't apologize.
This first scene, though, the way that it's depicted and the way that it's shot and the way that it's kind of cut together and things, I think it's very clever. And I think it does help to substantiate how she's feeling and the intimidation and the importance of this moment in her chosen career path. So for me, I think this scene's very important, and I also think that it's essential. If we don't have this moment in this film, I think the rest of the film kind of falls apart because you're kind of finding, again, like personally, there's things I don't particularly like or understand about this character, but at the same time, this big moment for her is like this is the one stepping stone. Like she has to get on this step in order to get up these other steps that she's going to go along. And for me personally, like the way it's shot, the way that it's put together, the way that scene is depicted, and the level of importance and the weight that's put on that scene, I think it's it deserves nothing but 5 stars as far as I'm concerned.
Cool. I'm on the same boat. If you don't give this 5 stars for visibility and context, I don't know what else is better.
Then you've got a bad podcast.
Right.
Yeah.
And we don't. So I agree. That first scene is perfect, and there is a really great balance between, all of the nudity in the film, and it's somehow not gratuitous to me. I did not find this gratuitous at all. It's shot in a really interesting ways to where you don't really feel that way. Some of it can be shocking, but I feel like a lot of that is down to that one rough scene, which is it's quite intense, and it's a lot to take in, and it's difficult to watch. But through the rest of it, it's really casual because it has to be, because these people are just doing their jobs. So that's what they have to do to get the job done, and I think that it's done really well. But yeah, I don't. Did you think it was gratuitous?
I don't think it's a film I'm ever gonna want to watch again. There's not a lot of.
Well, why don't you go into your rating then? You can add it to your overall rating of the film.
So I originally rated it 3 because I thought the film was fine. Second time watching it, I gave it 3.5 because it's slightly better than that. But again, 2.5 is average, so it's better than average. And I do think it's original. I don't think it's posing anything new that we didn't know. And I certainly do have a few questions about her motivations and like why she's deciding to do certain things. They don't seem particularly clear. And there's also certain elements as well, like hers. I don't find her particularly charismatic. I know we're finding her, we're following her story and stuff. I find the bit players so much more fucking interesting because it comes from a real place.
Mm-hmm.
So as her as a lead, I think she's incredibly brave, and I think she's diving head first into this thing, and I think she does an incredible job. But there are certain aspects I think that maybe are limited within the writing where I just don't think there's enough understanding for her motivations as to why she's doing certain things and why she thinks that this is like she gets on a fucking plane from Sweden and goes all the way to be like, I'm going to be a next adult film star. And it's like, I want to know why, because it sounds like, because she's lying to her mother, she's saying she's doing an internship, all this sort of thing. It seems like, and again, people talk to her and say, like, you seem smart, you seem clever, like, why have you made this decision? Because people who do find themselves in that situation, you know, the story's not too different from coming from a broken home, or you kind of worked in adult work before and this felt like a natural progression and all this sort of thing. Like, there's a reason people go into that, and there's a reason why they make certain choices the way they make them. And I don't see that firmly laid out in this film. And I think I would have liked her better, and I would have liked the film better if it was a little bit more strictly laid out. But everything else that happens in the film, I am perfectly happy with it, because it is those parts are entertaining to me. But like, I can't watch that rough scene again. Like, I genuinely can't. I get no entertainment from that section of the film, and it drops my rating for me as well. And I understand why it's there, and I understand why it's as uncomfortable as it is. But for me, like, I just can't watch that shit in general anyway. And I just don't have any revisitability with this thing. I think it's important. I think it's key to like what we're doing on the podcast, certainly as a piece of like modern sex cinema, but I can't see myself ever revisiting it.
Well, I gave this film 4.5. I really liked this. Motion picture, I think I gave it quite a bit less when I first watched it. I think I gave it a 3. But I don't know. There was something, circumstances, the kind of food I ate that day, how caffeinated I am, how much wine I drank when I was watching it. Did I have a good day before watching it? Was it a shit day?
I got shithouse hammered and I watched Pleasure.
I remember I had a really nice meal while I was watching it. And I had a couple glasses of wine, and I had a great time. So
yeah.
The circumstances were there. The temperature was right in the house. It felt good.
I think the difference is that, well, I remember hearing sex noises because I came home from work and you were watching it. I was like, oh, fuck, what the fuck is that? Like, what the fuck's going on?
The walls are real thin.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when there's sex noises, and I had the movie up pretty loud, and he walked in the door, and I go, oh, did you hear it outside? He goes, yes. I can.
It was super loud.
I'm like, oh boy, it's been loud for an hour and a half.
Super fucking loud. Yeah, no, maybe I think I'm more like Ava in that regard. I'm more business. Like, when I came to sit down and watch the movie, I was analyzing it.
I'm pleasure. Definitely pleasure. But
I'm all business.
I like that movie a lot. I like A Friendship Tale. It's not a rags to riches story, but I think that someone following their dreams and maybe deciding it isn't for them is okay. And I liked her journey. I liked her determination. I liked her as a character, and I liked her hair. I liked a lot of their shoes, and I wish I could wear tall shoes. I thought it was very funny, incredibly colorful, really dark at times. But overall, I think this is a super fun movie, and I don't know if it should be because it's a drama, but I think it's really funny at times. It's just seeing the situations that they're in and pulling back that curtain and seeing all the little details that you maybe wouldn't have thought about. And I find it very enjoyable, and it's not that long. So
yeah, it's like an hour 40
I would
minutes.
absolutely watch this again. I've seen it twice, and I put it on today just to kind of refresh myself, and I think it's super funny. So I'll if I can get, we don't own it yet, but I will.
I think, we definitely have different things that we would go to and find like entertaining. I think this is one of those moments where I'm just like, I'm like, not Pleasure, but then I'll watch Prisoners any day of the week.
Oh, yeah.
And, obviously I've watched some really fucked up stuff that you can't fucking stand. So
I'll watch anything. You know me. I'll watch pretty much anything.
The fucking sadness. Remember watching The Sadness and you were in the room and you didn't even...
I didn't look over. Also,
look over.
To be fair, I was working. I was working.
Man.
So, no, I didn't look over. But
that movie's fantastic as well. It's so
the
fucking
movies
good.
that you rewatch all the time are different than the ones that I rewatch all the time.
Yes.
Your comfort movies are Seven.
Yeah. Yeah, I can say all the lines to Seven as well as I'm watching it. I'm just like mouthing the words.
You know, mine are like
Weird.
Mamma Mia, High Fidelity.
Yeah, comfort movies are slightly different.
Demolition Man.
Yeah. Yeah. That's not to say I don't like Demolition Man. Mamma Mia can go fuck itself. That fucking piece of shit. But anyway.
Not going to comment because everyone knows you're false. And you know what? Actually, no. That's okay. You can have your opinion about it, and I will have mine. Love Mamma Mia, and you don't. And that's okay.
You know that doesn't work. You know that, like, whenever I have a differing opinion to anybody else's, I get fucking vilified and dragged through the swamp.
You're a real victim. I'm really sorry.
No, that's not what I'm suggesting. Don't turn the tables on me, Laura Hensel. Don't you dare.
Well, that's kind of it for this. I'm going to tell you one of my favorite lines.
I can't believe you fucking did this to me.
In the movie, if it's for free, it's for me. Coming to you from a beautiful palatial mansion in LA, I have been Laura.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, whatever. I'm done.
Thanks for the pleasure.
Bye.